Today we are here with a very special guest, and so we're going to be getting into our second Teaching Tuesday. And so today's guest of honor is Sherry Thacker, and she is she's quickly becoming a One Life regular. If you guys have paid attention to the podcast, she's been on our podcast before. She's worked with a lot of our contributor club members and as a coach, and she's worked with a lot of our community members just doing what she does out in the world. And so we're going to kind of get into her story and her journey. And she actually has a cool, for those of you guys who want to start improving your wellness, improving your health from home and don't have all of the accessibility that you had a few months ago, Sherry has a really cool offer for you. And so we'll talk about that as well. Before we get into that, I do want to let people know, if you guys have not gotten your One Life Roadmap journal, what are you doing? It's been out for just over a month now, and it's quickly climbing the charts on Amazon in the personal transformation genre. And so if you go to onelifefullylive.org/Amazon, it'll take you straight there. And it is a journal that will walk you through the screen always screws it up, but you can't really see it. But it's a journal that you can have right here, and you can hold, and it'll take you through the whole One Life Roadmap. And so you'll be able to dial in your vision. You'll be able to figure out your finances, work on your relationships, and then what we're going to talk about today, improve your wellness. That's onelifefullylive.org/Amazon, and you guys can get that. All right, without further ado, let's get into our conversation for today. So welcome, Sherry. And I was chatting with you a little bit before that it's been a few months since our last conversation, and I've had a lot of life happen for me. I know a lot of people have had a lot of life happen for them. How have things been in your world since the world's been rocked over these last several months?
Well, I'll have to say that for me personally, not a whole lot of things changed. I took my online gym and my coaching career online 3 years ago. So while a lot of gyms, were shut down and closed all of a sudden, and we're scurrying to figure out what to do, I was happy to kind of be already positioned in that, opportunity to continue just running business as usual. So the biggest kind of, upset, if you will, was just trying to deal with home life, right? All of a sudden everybody's home, kids are home, and managing, what to do with school, and, managing how to run a business from home while still having this little 8-year-old mommy, mom, so that was kind of the bigger challenge. But, our business is thriving. We've been doing very well now. We've run, 18 challenges. We've had over 2,000 people go through our challenges, because we do a lot of one-on-one, hand-holding and coaching there. So yeah, it was kind of business as usual, and really helping to support a lot of my clients that were dealing with a lot of, kind of stress and anxiety, uncertainty, a lot of binge eating at home, a lot of carbohydrate eating at home, dealing with, the dynamics in their homes with their husbands and so on. So yeah, that's how it's been.
It's so great to hear a couple of things. The first is that you were, that you had been preparing for this moment. And similarly, One Life has been doing a lot of the same things. And we find that, now is our moment. People are finally ready. But the second thing is that, not that I'm wishing any challenges or wishing any ill will on you, but to see that, even still, even if the business is going well and thriving, that there's still something, this crisis, this event, whatever this is, hasn't escaped, nobody's escaped it. Everybody's dealt with it in their own way, whether it's, they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent, or whether they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their life, or they're just trying to figure out how they're going to get their workouts in. Everybody has been forced to adapt. And so it's been cool. It's cool to see that you were ready for this moment, and then you're still kind of pivoting and shuffling up, as we speak. So I'd love for you to take us on the journey, because now you've got this online fitness empire that's helping thousands of people, and you're a mom, and you've got your own business. You from the looks of it, it would look like you've got it all, right? Some people could say like, you've done it, you've made it. But I know that everybody who's been on this show, they always have stories and challenges and experiences. And a lot of times that, the finished product or the product that we see right now is far from far from, what it actually took to get there. So one thing that we find is that everybody on our show has kind of found their groove. They've really intuitively followed our fulfillment triangle, or we found that people really, they study and they work at trying to figure out what are they good at, what do they love to do, and then where is there an opportunity in the marketplace for them to go out and make money for it. So take us on that journey. How did you find out that you were good at helping people, with their fitness and with their body, lose weight and all the things that come with that, better self-image and all the stuff that I know, you're a very holistic kind of coach. How did you stick with it enough? How did you find that you were passionate enough to stick with it? I'm sure that there were tons of opportunities to quit, to give up, to go a different direction, to work for someone else, to do something else. And then, it would be great to hear how you found your way into building this online empire before anybody even saw it coming. So can you kind of take us on that journey and that experience of, how you got to where you got?
Absolutely, with pleasure. It's a fun story. So, kind of the typical thing is when you do find your true passion and things that you're really excited about, that's when you're most likely to thrive. So if you are thinking about starting a business, you got to darn well like what you're doing. That's number one. So for me, it was fluke, entirely by accident. I fell into the industry. I was 180 pounds. I was a size 16. I got educated strictly for myself to solve my own, health problems. And I got all sorts of certifications just because I've always had the philosophy that, the more you learn, the more education you have, the more knowledge you have, the faster and easier things are going to come to, because you know what you're doing. So a few years went by. And I've always been an entrepreneur since I was 20. So I've had a couple of businesses in my career. One of them was going to be this huge internet company that ended up, unfortunately, the investor just kind of fell out of this, out of the loop and just disappeared. So we had to shut it down. So I was in a little bit of a slump at that time, a little depressed, lost a whole bunch of money. And I basically needed to do something to fill my time while I was waiting for that next thing. So I started taking on personal training clients just as something to do. 15 years later, my business and my company has evolved. A year after I got started, I realized, I had accomplished $10,000 in sales month one. So there was something to that. I was able to really sell and promote something that I really loved doing. And I did the whole track of mobile fitness, working in gyms, one-on-one training, opened up a studio, did all of that, and did that for probably about 10 years, 10 years. And I came to this crossroads where I had just started the mobile fit, the remote, the online thing. I started offering online to my clients 3 years ago. And then I realized the scalability of being able to work with anyone all over the world. My studio used to be in my basement. So all I could fit was 8 people in at a time. And then I started looking into rental properties to see, how I was going to grow and expand. And the whole idea of paying rent and would people show up, and how many passes do I have to sell in order to cover all of my expenses? And I was literally kind of at this crossroads 3 years ago. And my lifelong dream since the internet was born was to create an online business, membership-based, something where I could be anywhere in the world and work and do my thing without being tied to anything. And the more I saw my opportunities online, the more I saw, I can hire trainers to teach the classes. I can hire supporting coaches to work under me. I can, build and create as many courses and education as I want to. And it's limitless. It's as many Zoom accounts as I could possibly get to fill up thousands and thousands of people to my online offer. So to me, that was way more appealing than being tied to a schedule and tied to a location and tied to that door of opening and closing that key. So that's what happened 3 years ago. Started running these 6-week challenges. And it blew up, just doing extremely well, getting amazing results, having a blast doing it. So that's pretty much where we are with the journey.
Yeah. How interesting that you were started in, well, I guess it was intentional in coming back to the internet, but I think that whether that's coincidence or whatever that is, it just made you right in the right spot, today, which is so cool. So I think that one thing that has been, a thing that I've had to deal with, and I know that a lot of people, I've had clients and friends, have to figure out how to get their workout in, just how to do it. So many people had the routine. My mom would go to the gym around the corner and she'd be there, 6 days a week, and she'd be and do her thing, and she'd have a routine and her machines. And then all of a sudden they're closed down, and she's freaking out. And, so other people are. So I guess my question is, now when people are looking for what to do, what do you tell, how do you have that conversation? Because I'd imagine it's more than just, oh, well, do a body weight routine, or, oh, it's easy, go for a run, or, because I think that there's maybe some mental part of it, or something that holds people back from, just making an easy shift. So what is that conversation like for someone who's looking to, take control of their wellness and needs to do it at a time and place that's not maybe ideal or convenient?
What a great question, and one we face often. So the one major difference that makes us very different from anything else online is that we help you to make your health non-negotiable, especially when life gets in the way. And we do that by not teaching you programs, by not giving you plans to follow. Because when life gets in the way, plans and programs get put to the side, because that immediate stress is right in front of you, and you've got to deal with the kid or the husband or the job or the mother-in-law in the hospital, or all of these different things that come up. So, health, nutrition, fitness, this is not a plan to follow. You can't follow a plan. You have to have a set of standards about your health that are so important to you that no matter what is happening in your life, you're not going to break those standards. So Hector, let me give you an example. I'm sure at one point you decided that robbing a bank was probably not a good idea. Is that true?
Yes. There was at some point in my life where I realized that that probably wasn't the ideal thing to do.
So here's what happened. You saw a TV show, a movie, something. You saw a bank robbery going on. People got caught, thrown in jail. Life is ruined. They have a record. They're in a 10 by 10. They're away from their families. And so Hector's like, you know what? No matter how financially tight that I get, robbing a bank is never really going to hit the list of options. Is that true?
Correct.
Right. So what happens is he thinks about, well, I'm going to go online and sell Amazon. I'm going to pick up dog walking. I'm going to take a second job at the restaurant down the street. He's going to have all these lists and options, but robbing a bank is not one of them, because two things happen. The consequence of robbing a bank is so severe, it doesn't make the list of options. And morally, it's really important for him to say, that's not even a moral option for me. So the angle that I work with in my clients is, first of all, giving the base. And the base is in creating the foundation. You need education as that foundation. You need to know stuff, right? You need to know how the body works, and you need to know about your body. And then all of a sudden, based on that education, you start to create those standards. So whether you're vegan or paleo or, carnivore or whatever the trendy thing that's going on right now, it's all about being plant-based. So there's always a trend. But at the end of the day, there's only one significant opinion about your health that really matters. And that's whether you're vegan or not. You either eat meat or you don't, right? Like vegans refuse morally to eat meat. That's it. That's the only decision. Everything else, you've got whole natural foods that grow from the ground. That is your creator's gift to you. And you also have meat if you choose to eat it, or if you don't choose to eat it. That's your choice. But after that, now you're creating a set of standards on education that is now important to you, because you're starting to learn how the body works. You're starting to learn how to drive your body as intuitively as you do your car. So Hector, the last time you turned on your car, did you check the owner's manual on how to use the heat?
No.
No, right? Because you figured that out a long time ago. Like, oh,
Right.
that's how you turn the heat on. And then you're done. Like, you're intuitive about it and you know how to do it. So that's how I teach my clients on how to drive their bodies as intuitively, so that when you wake up in the morning, you've got your education, you've got your set of standards, the thing that's important to you, it hits home for you. And through that, I help them to create and build these routines and habits, hour by hour by hour of the day, where we stack and stack and stack these new habits. So I know your community is very familiar with Hal Elrod and the Miracle Morning. And this is what you need to do throughout your entire 24 hours. So we can't just stop at the morning. We need to build the whole day out, because one other important factor is that your mind is only really capable of making a certain amount of decisions in a day, and then it really fatigues. It's like a muscle. You can only do so many bicep curls. So we're always our best at our morning. It's refreshed. We've had a great sleep. We're feeling good. We're able to make good, smart decisions. But throughout the afternoon and the evening is when you need those standards and those routines and habits in place to support you at times when you're most vulnerable. How many times, Hector, you started out in the morning, you did a great job, and then by 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, like, it crashed, right? You were starving, you didn't eat properly in the morning, you ran into the nearest fast food something, you solved the problem. So those are the types of things that we work in doing, that makes us very, very different. And until you master this mindset, where you've done like a mindset shift in the way how you look at your body, a lot of women lose motivation to work out because they plug in, fitness and nutrition together, like it goes hand in hand, and it really doesn't. They're two very separate conversations, much like you go to school and you learn chemistry in one class and you learn geography in another class. You're in school and you're learning about, stuff, but they're two different classes. And fitness, you practice fitness because you need your body to be strong. The thicker and more dense your muscles are, the thicker and more dense your bones are going to be. And the stronger your bones and the thicker your muscles, the more it's going to hold up this skeleton that you've got going on. Okay, especially your joints. You need strong bones and muscles to hold everything up. So if your body is strong and you've ignited these natural hormones that your body needs for your hormones to be balanced, for you to be younger, for you to be motivated, for you to be pumped, for your blood circulation, oxygenating your brain, all sorts of amazing things happen during workout. Irrelevant to weight loss. Totally irrelevant to weight loss. People always think I can outburn that cookie or that margarita I had last night. Not the point, right? Weight loss is going to happen in the kitchen, and weight loss is irrelevant because you've got to make sure that your brain works. Your brain and your body has got to work, because if these two things are not connected, you're now living in the jail cell of your body. And I don't know about you, but I want my brain to work when I'm 72. I want to not be stuck in this body that's filled with pain and disease and anxiety and depression and all these things that happen to our body and our brains when the biochemistry is not lined up properly through proper food and nutrition, and my body works. So I'm not living with arthritis or colitis or these painful experiences that a lot of people endure every day. To me, that's jail. And as we said before, going to jail for robbing a bank is not an option.
Yeah, you really talked about the mindset and then creating routines, and I think that's a beautiful framework. And yeah, I know it's those of you guys who are catching this. This is gold. So, Sherry, we talked about at the beginning, you have a program that people, have been doing at home. What do you think is unique about the program, and why does you talked about the mindset? So after someone has the mindset, what's next, right? I mean, that alone, I think, is obviously only one piece of the puzzle. So what are some other things that people can either implement easily or something that they can take away from the conversation in terms of exercise or nutrition or some of those other tactical steps?
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. Let's see. For sure, you need the right mindset going in. Following a macro chart or calorie counting or a trendy kind of diet is going to be temporary. It just absolutely is. And I know how many people up there was going to raise their hand and said they've jumped into a program, fallen off, gained the weight back, jumped into another program, fallen off, gained the weight back. And it's this cycle that goes, on and on and on.
Do you think, sorry to cut you off, do you think that before fitness, before even working out, do you think that nutrition, is that one and then working out is two, or is it 1A and B, or are they equal, legs to the stool? How do you think, I think a lot of people, and me talking about me as well, miss the nutrition part of the wellness, right? They think that it's just working out, and if I just work out, then that's great, and I'll lose weight or I'll feel better or whatever that end goal is. But how does nutrition, and even on last week's call, we talked about sleep a little bit. Do you think that those two things play a role in this whole process?
Well, first of all, stress and sleep are paramount to your health. Those absolutely have to be managed. That is so important, both causing massive amounts of inflammation, a lot of damage to your body, depressed immune system. Like those two are just in another category all over here. And in our program, we work at reducing inflammation and managing the stress and optimizing gut health and all this kind of fun stuff. But more importantly than fitness and nutrition at that point is something that is so crucial that everybody really, really needs to understand. And that is that, let me ask you a question, Hector. What do you think is the one difference between a heroin addict, a cigarettes, and alcoholism? What do you think is that one difference between those three items, and sugar?
I'd imagine just the drug they're addicted to, just the chemical that they chose. I mean, it seems like all of them have some sort of addictive, effect on your body.
Exactly right. So the one difference that separates sugar from heroin or drugs, for example, is that it's legal. So what's really important to understand is that this drug is being pushed by pushers of big business who love to make the green, and they love to profit on you. And that industry is not going away. So if you could imagine for just a moment, all of the processed sugar that exists in the world, all of the grocery stores, the corner stores, the supermarkets, the big shopping centers, all of the products that have been made in movie theaters, and the list is so long of where sugar is being pushed at you. And you're addicted. And I'm not saying, jelly beans, right? We're not talking Doritos here. We're talking in a massive scale, the amount of addiction that people have with food. When was the last time, Hector, that you craved cauliflower so bad you broke a sweat?
Hasn't happened.
Did you ever have a massive migraine because if you didn't have cauliflower anytime soon, you were just going to die?
No, I don't think that's a side effect of cauliflower.
Our bodies are not designed to be addicted. Okay. If you think of all of the natural foods from the ground, broccoli and carrots and onions and garlic, you're not addicted to any one of those foods, but you are addicted to the foods that have been man-made over the last 100 years. And sugar has been, started to get pumped into our society actually 200 years ago, obviously mainstream in the 70s, 80s, 90s. And now it's to a degree that we're so incredibly addicted to food, but it's not just the addiction to the chemical, but you've also got emotional relationships with these foods. Since you can think back to a Friday night, you were around your family, Hector, and like it was pizza night. And if you think back to all the different ways you've experienced pizza in a fun setting, pizza out with the guys, pizza after the hockey game, pizza on a birthday party, pizza in all of these environments, that on a Friday night when it's cold and it's rainy outside and you're tired and you're like, I don't feel like, but you've also had a stressful day and you just want to make yourself feel better. Those emotional connections that you have with pizza, fill that void. That chemical addiction that you have with pizza and Coke and fries and, and even some healthy foods are going to put you right back where you were. So you might have been like, okay, I'm on the keto diet thing. I'm crushing it. It's day 14. I'm doing well. I've been working out. It's 14 days in. You break up with your girlfriend and you're like, pizza. And then boom, everything gets annihilated. So, you can join 1,000 diet plans and you can count macros until you're blue in the face. But until you understand you're addicted to these foods, you have chemical relationships with them, you need an entirely new mindset that redefines the way you've looked at food your entire life. And you have to work heavily on creating a set of standards that are important for you to tackle these changes. Just like any heroin addict, you send them into the Betty Ford clinic on the weekends or on the weekdays, and you're saying, look, you make sure that you're heroin free from Monday to Friday. But on the weekends, binge up, like no problem, go on a bender. You would never say that to a heroin addict, right? But people are constantly looking for life balance. They want the salads Monday through Friday, and they want to be allowed to eat the pizza or the chocolate bars or the jujubes and ice creams on the weekends. And it doesn't work that way because you keep shooting yourself back up with this addictive food. So until you start to really come to a conclusion that says, you know what, like when I'm off of that food, I feel amazing. My energy levels are sky high. My cognitive performance is super sharp. I feel young. I feel like everything works. And that's important to me. And the minute I go and I put pizza or something back into my body again, boom, it sits into me like a ton of bricks. I feel lethargic. I feel like I need to take a nap, right? So these are going to be choices that you're ultimately going to make. But if you don't come to this conclusion soon, you'll always have this yo-yo kind of effect.
Yeah. I think you're speaking to so many people. And if not, you're speaking to me because last night we had pizza. And, but what happened is we took the kids to the mall because my little guy does not do well in the house. So he needs to get out, which is awesome because everything is open right now. So we found a splash pad that was open at the mall and a pizza place that happened to be open at the mall, and it's convenient and the kids screaming. And it's like, so having those moral boundaries in place, I think are the only things, because there was a time where we would even say, oh no, we would never give our baby pizza. And then
here you are.
He learned the word pizza. He actually said itza. And so, and please, he started saying please now. So
you see, you don't want to set him up for the same lifetime battles that you've endured for the last 30, 40 years, right?
I get it. Yeah, totally. My wife and I are constantly realizing, the ruts that we've dug for ourselves in terms of the habits and the relationships that we have with some of these things. And so, I think that I'm sure that a lot of people are in similar positions. One of the things that came up in the topic as we were putting this call together was overcoming hunger. And so you talked about not going on that yo-yo, roller coaster I just need something, and then you getting that, and then feeling kind of going on this back and forth. So what are the, let's assume someone's done this, right? They've got the mindset, right? They've started to implement some of these, systems and habits. How does someone beat hunger? What does that look like? Is that even possible?
Oh, it absolutely is. Just to give you an example, okay, I want you to think about caveman for a second, or even humans 1,000 years ago. So, especially North Americans, if you had to go through November to May with very limited plant life, I don't know where you are, Hector, but where I am, in Quebec, we get 10 feet of snow in February, and we don't really see grass from December to about May. So plant life, unless, we import it in, is very limited. So in the olden days, if we'll call it that, your body was designed to go for periods of time without food. Now, the problem is how do you think we would have survived as a species if after 4 hours, 6 hours, 18 hours, you started to get migraines and headaches and the shakes and grumpy and irritable and lethargic and needing to
and become a jerk
and get hangry?
Yeah.
Like, how do you think we would have survived as a species if after 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, we couldn't find food when we were going for weeks of time without food, right? Like, we were in that period of time, it was whatever we were able to hunt, gather, and preserve. It was that simple. So as a species of 10,000 years old, how is it that in the past 20, 30 years, we can't go from 9 until noon without a snack, right? So your body actually thrives in a fasted state, and your body was designed to be primarily in a state of ketosis. So everyone talks about keto diets, it's all trendy, it's all this, all that. It's very different. And that's a trend. And I don't promote a trend, every trend, no trend do I promote. But there is being in a state of ketosis, and your body was designed to be in that state. So what that means is your body preserves fat as a backup battery plant for when there's no food in the way or around. Your body was designed to feed off that macro. So we need micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and water for survival. Without that, we're in rough shape. So we definitely need some form of micronutrient daily, every other day. Macronutrients, on the other hand, is an energy source. And we can actually go for a long period of time without that macronutrient if that energy stored is in our body. So if you think about Mr. Squirrel, he goes around all summer, and around, August, he's looking pretty big. Go and check your squirrels in your area today when you go outside. See how big that guy is. Now, throughout the winter, his size shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. And when you see him out again in April, he's a skinny guy. So there was an actual study done of a man who is 400 plus pounds. And back in the 1960s, they said, what would happen, right? Like if he didn't eat anything, like just what would happen to the body? So they kept him going with vitamins, minerals, and hydration for a year and 1 month, 13 months. And this man of 400 pounds went all the way down to 185 pounds in 13 months because the body lived on itself, on the fuel sources that were stored in the body. So if you have storage and you have micronutrients, your body was designed to utilize that fuel without the hangry, without the addictions, the migraines, the lethargy. So your hunger is actually designed to just give you a little knock. And if you don't open the door of food, then that hunger signal is going to retreat. So our body gives 3 hunger signals, but they're all identical. And there's 3 reasons why we have those signals. 1, we're dehydrated. So you will get the exact same hunger signal if you're just dehydrated as if you needed a full meal. 2, you need some form of micronutrient. You're missing a mineral or vitamin that your body is craving. It needs in order for that biochemistry to be right, to have proper homeostasis. And it'll, again, give you the exact same hunger craving, which is that time when you look in the fridge and you're like, what do I feel like eating? And then all of a sudden your mental Rolodex goes through, oh, that's what I need. 3, when you need a meal, when you actually need a meal, but you weren't designed to be in this state where like, oh my God, if I don't eat, I'm gonna like just, right? So actually, after about 36 to 48 hours, your body actually goes into a peak performance state where you get this euphoric feeling. You're actually feeling quite amazing, and you've got really high energy, and your cognitive performance is super sharp because it's in within those times that your body was designed to go and find some darn food, right? So we've got the tools built in us for survival. Your body wants to survive. So it doesn't shut down if there's no food. It actually pumps itself right up. So it's the overabundance of food and the overconsumption of ongoing calories and the wrong mixture of foods that are actually making us so sick. So if we actually just ate less in the form of what our body needs calorically, there is a need that our body needs to stay active and moving and healthy. And also practicing intermittent fasting to give our body a time to rest from digestion. Really important for cellular rejuvenation, to help your body have an opportunity to cleanse and detox itself on a regular basis while it's not processing food. So yes, definitely designed to be able to go without food.
Quick question here. This is a selfish question. So I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. I usually don't eat until about 3 or 4. But what I do is drink water, and I'll throw vitamin C or some supplements or stuff like that. Is that the same as digestion, or are those kind of in separate categories? If it's just water and some.
Yeah, so it really depends on your ambition for fasting. So if you, let's say you were unfortunately suffering from cancer and you were fasting for, natural remedies to try and find ways to help heal your body, then a straight up water fast with herbal teas is going to be the way that you'll need to go about doing that, because you will absolutely stay in a fasted state. And that gives your body an opportunity to go ahead and work with autophagy and work with that cellular rejuvenation and work on really hoping to break down and, reduce the size of cancer tumors and so on. But if you are in, kind of like a weight loss mode, or you do just want to consume less, you're hoping to stay in ketosis and all this sort of, theory. So vitamins will actually kick you out of a fasted state. Any form of macronutrient, any kind of calorie consumption will kick you out of a fasted state. So if you go to have a David's tea, for example, and you're fasting, if there's any sugar in that tea, you've kicked yourself out of fasting mode. But let's just say you're like, you know what, I really want to cut down on the amount of food that I'm eating. I still want to stay within my caloric needs, but I want to make sure that I don't overconsume. You can go ahead and do an 18-hour fast. You can have your vitamins. Technically, you're not fasting anymore, but you're also not consuming, 3 meals a day or up to 6 meals a day. So it can be a strategy. It just depends what your motive is.
Will it kick you out of ketosis? Maybe.
No, it won't kick you out of ketosis.
Okay, great. This is fantastic, guys, and this is why you guys should hop on these calls. You guys can get some real life info. Sherry, we've covered quite a bit here, and I think that this is worth someone going back and rewatching over and over again. Is there anything that you feel hasn't been said or that is worth touching on, as we're kind of rounding out here?
Are you kind of asking health wise, or kind of, staying committed to your goals? And
you're the expert. I want to get, make sure that there isn't anything that should be said that wasn't said, whether it's mindset or goals or fitness or wellness. I mean, you're a woman who has done it all and has excelled in all the areas of the core 4. And so wherever you want to speak to that you think our community might benefit from.
Cool. So I believe your community are a driven, motivated bunch. They've got goals and ambitions that they want to achieve, in, creating a business or pursuing, careers that are important to them. So the most important message that I have is that, first and foremost, you can't sacrifice your health for anyone else, and you can't sacrifice your health for your business. There's all the talk of the grind and staying up until 2 o'clock in the morning and grinding your way through something. And it does so much physical damage. It puts so many aged years onto your life, in this pursuit of, not necessarily having proper cognitive performance at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're out grinding, building the next funnel or whatever that you're looking to do. So you need to set some boundaries on people, and on your own behavior when it comes to pursuing your dreams, because it is your routines and standards and habits that are going to help you to succeed in anything you want. And that's equal in business and in your health. So your health, and by keeping your body in peak performance, it's going to give you so much more energy and so much more capabilities for you to excel in your business if you are properly managing your health and understanding that anything that you put in your body, it's going to affect your brain performance. And if growing a business or getting to the next level in your career is really important to you, then you got to bring your suit of armor with you. So that includes making sure that you're working out or getting some form of movement in your body throughout the day, whether it be walking, running, stretching. Lifting weights is paramount on a weekly basis. If anybody out there needs some clarification on some form of training philosophy or some form of nutrition philosophy, reach out to Hector. He knows how to get a hold of me. By all means, you can message me. I'm happy to jump on a phone call with you and kind of help guide you through kind of setting yourself and getting yourself organized. That's an offer I'd like to offer to your community here, Hector. And the same thing is true when it comes to your business. You need absolute clarity and absolute focus in what you're doing. And in anybody chasing their dreams, there's so much ambition that it almost becomes desperate sometimes. And you end up kind of like going here and going there and going here and going there, trying to figure out what's the right way. And the more structure you have in your day, where you're very clear in what you do throughout the day and how you manage your business or manage your career. And it's started your day with your miracle morning. You've worked that up to having scheduled, focused, that one thing. I know a lot of you guys know the book, The One Thing. You'll have to reread that again and be hyper-focused on what your goals are, and being very tunnel and narrow vision into making sure that you reach the benchmarks that you set for yourself. So if you don't have goals, if you don't have standards, if you don't have habits and routines to keep you on track, and I know you've heard that before from all the gurus, but it's what I practice as well. And it's paramount to success. So that's what I'd leave you guys with today.
Thank you so much, Sherry. This has been, I have 3 pages of notes. So just for me, this has been a fantastic call. And for those of you guys who are catching this, whether it's live or you're catching the replay, I'd love to know what you guys are getting from this. And I would absolutely take up that offer that Sherry just made and reach out to her and get some time with her, because that sounds like, I know this past little bit has been invaluable. She's also, in her graciousness, she's also helps with our contributor club. So if you become one of our monthly contributors, you can actually work directly with her as well. But she has an offer that she's given to the One Life community to get 30 days of free access to her online platform. And I believe there's over 40 different workouts that you can replay on. They do live fitness classes.
They're live, absolutely.
They do live fitness ones.
Yeah.
And then I think there's even a community, an online community that people can kind of join and get support and help from. And so if you go to onelifefullylive.org/fitness, it'll take you right to there and you can sign up and you get a full month in there. And I don't know what else you need. That's all you need. So it's onelifefullylive.org/fitness and it'll take you right there. Sherry, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure. And, you know, each time you come on, it gets better and better. So we'll have to have you come on as well next time. Guys, we have our calls every Tuesday, so make sure you hit the notifications button, subscribe, do all those things that you need to do. And if you guys are also looking for where else you can find these, they're also on the podcast, they're on YouTube, and you can find them in our one.